Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Nuha Jes Izman about Yellowjackets, season 2 now on Showtime and Paramount Plus. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I mean, it's crazy because I feel like there's always going to be a lot going through your mind when you join a show that was always already established for season 1, right? Yeah. So what is that kind of, I'm sure it's a lot of things. I'm sure it's nerve-wracking, but I'm sure it's exciting as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, honestly, I think what I could say the most is like, it's like first day of school at a school where everybody already knows each other. Everyone has their friends and their dynamics, and like this cast did such an incredible job at setting the foundation for this show. I didn't want to come in and like mess that up, but I will say I came in and they were all so welcoming, which helped me do my work and made it easier for me to show up and, do what I needed to do.
Absolutely. What can you tell me about the audition process? Did you audition for Crystal? Did you audition for other characters? How much did you know about it? Like, I feel like I got so many questions about the audition.
Yeah. No, the audition was, honestly, it was so fast. It was one self-tape.
Okay.
So they sent in one self-tape and I auditioned for Crystal. Mm-hmm. And all they told me about her was that she was a musical theater enthusiast and that she would become friends and get really close to Misty. And then they sent me a mock script. It was a fake out script, essentially. It wasn't anything we ended up using on the show. But what I later found out was it was the same mock audition that they had given for the Misty round of auditions in the first season.
Okay. And
yes.
Did you know a lot about the fact that Crystal enjoys the stage and show tunes? Like, was that part of kind of the process of auditioning for that as well?
Not really. So I had the audition scene, but they didn't say anything about having to sing or dance. There was no word about that. Mm-hmm. I found that out actually after I got the call that I had the job. They were like, okay, you got the job. You're flying out tomorrow. And I was like, okay, I'm moving to Canada for the next few months. And then a few minutes later, the director emailed me and she was like, hey, just checking. Are you trained in tap dancing and singing? And I was like, I'm not trained in tap dancing and singing, but I'll do it. And that was it. Yeah.
You sing that song from Beaches and Orphan.
From Beaches and Orphan. Yeah.
I'm always going to say that. It's from Beaches, but it's also from Orphan.
Yeah. And it's like got that creepy sort of feel for it in Orphan, which I think it kind of.
That's what I felt. But like that's when you sing that song, it made me think of that. And that's like scary. You know what I mean?
Because it's so out of place. I think when I first read it too, I was like, oh, they're going to make me do this musical number. But I think that's what's so genius about it was that it was out of place. You're watching these girls try to survive and it's this really like grounded sort of TV show.
Yeah.
And then you see someone out of nowhere burst into singing and it's kind of unsettling because you're like, is this for real?
Yeah.
Why is she singing in the middle of the woods? Like she's really lost it and is trying to find a way to soothe herself. And, people do crazy things to do that. Yeah.
Totally. And I'm asking you this in regards to going and filming season 2, because watching it obviously, but I mean, there's a genre bending component of Yellowjackets that I love because it's so many genres. It's got the horror, it's got the thriller. It has moments where it's pretty funny as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. When do you start realizing that like you're on a genre bending show? Is it like when you first get there and film the first couple of episodes, or is it only kind of around your wrap? You're like, wow, like there really is a lot of genres in Yellowjackets.
Yeah. I honestly think it's when you read the script, because when we get the scripts, we like to read through them. And it's like, it really did feel like a novel in a sense, the way they describe certain scenes happening, the way it's written. And so it's like, you're being pulled into all these different directions. And so you're like, okay, for this episode, my role is to be comedic relief. Or for this episode, it's, a little more dramatic. And so it's like, you read it off of the page and you're like, okay, that's what I have to do this week. That's the role I'm playing. Yeah.
So episodes are rolling out on Showtime, and people can also watch it on Paramount Plus. By the time this interview is out, episode 5 will be out. And some stuff happens.
Yeah.
And is this one of the first times that you're talking about what happens, would you say?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So we say goodbye to Crystal in episode
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And
Or
I
Crystal as you know it. Yeah.
yeah, I can't even imagine reading that.
Hmm.
Like, what is, before we get into the scenes and everything, what's that like kind of reading that? How way in advance do you know about the kind of situation with, like, do you know right away, like when you sign up for Yellowjackets, that that's happening?
So when I signed on for Yellowjackets, they had told me that I was signed on for 5 episodes.
Okay.
And so me doing my math, it's a survival show. Like there are a little more than 5 episodes. So I'm there going,
I'm sorry, that me too.
something's gonna happen. But nobody told me. But I kind of had a feeling. I was like, well, I mean, realistically, this is what's gonna happen. And I think it's such a beautiful way to kind of help Misty's character get pushed forward into this new phase of her life. Like, I think when I signed on to the show, I recognized from the get-go, my part in this show is to help lift this character, Misty. It's to help lift Misty up and help her journey from one point of, her position in the group and, where she's at in her life right now and bring her over to this new phase of her life.
Yeah.
And so when I got the script for it, I was like, well, surely it's episode 5. I mean, I don't know when else it would happen. Me and Samantha read it together, actually. It was like we had gotten the script while we were filming episode 3, I want to say. And we were reading it and we were like, no, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, they're having too much fun. Like, they're sharing secrets. Like, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then it happens. And we're both sitting there reading, looking at each other like, how did it get there? I think the scene happened so fast. It's like you see them finally trust each other and they're at the height of their friendship.
Yeah.
Not pun intended or whatever.
No, you do an incredible job in that scene, and shout out to to Samantha Hanratty, who plays Misty. I mean, when she says, like, I'm gonna effing kill you, like you feel that.
You feel that. Because I think up to this point, like, you meet Misty or younger Misty, and you see where she ends up. You see, from younger Misty, like, you see how Christina Ricci embodies adult Misty, and you're like, how did she get there? And so I think in this season, especially, you start to see Misty really find her footing in who she wants to become as a person and how she ends up getting there. And Samantha does such an incredible job at creating that arc. And yeah, I think that's one of the moments where you're like, oh, Misty really is capable of
totally. And this might be a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Was it always like Crystal slipping and falling, basically? Is that like always what it was?
Yes. So how it was written in the script was that, Misty says, I'll fucking kill you. And Crystal gets so scared and she backs away, and then out of nowhere she disappears. But then how we saw it in the episode, obviously you see her fall. So I think it's honestly up to interpretation. I mean, Misty obviously doesn't shove her, but does she go closer to her? Does Misty know what she's doing by walking Crystal further back, or is it really an accident? I like to believe it's an accident.
The TV show that you are on is the equivalent of getting on a roller coaster, going for all the loop-de-loops, the fast, the bumps, all that stuff, and not being able to get off.
Yeah.
That's literally your show.
Yeah, it's like when you go to like Disneyland and you do the roller coaster and then you're back to the start and you think it's over and they're like, just kidding, we're doing it again.
Yeah, and or you just, it's just nonstop. You just can't get off because it's exhausting sometimes. Sometimes watching the show, you're like, I'm tired.
Oh, yes, definitely.
No, for sure. For storytelling and acting, I mean, you've been doing this for quite some time. You've had an interest in this for quite some time. Do you have something that you love the most about it? Is it just the idea that you could just kind of dive into different worlds or just play different characters? Is there something you like the most about being a storyteller, Nuha?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Like, going back to when I was a kid, at least, or where my interest of movies and TV shows came from, was that I was a very like lonely kid, and so I loved TV. I could sit in front of the TV and just watch things for hours and hours and hours. And it helped me kind of escape the sense of escapism. And that feeling honestly has stuck with me onto set as well. So not only does it give me this thing of like, well, maybe I can give that feeling of escapism for other people, but also it helps me escape the day to day. You know, when I'm on set working, I'm in a whole different world.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun because, you know, you get to work with other people and find humanity in characters. Like my favorite thing is, you know, working on a messed up character and being like, and finding the humanity in her, you know?
Absolutely.
It really allows you to learn to empathize as a person. Because
Yeah.
everyone tries their best, or at least I'd like to think that. People really try their best to do the good thing, and sometimes they just fail.
No, totally. And the communal thing, I think, is a big part of it as well, right? Like working with a lot of incredible people. I mean, you know, a lot of the like you all, like a lot of you became pretty close, and you know, on TikTok, the Yellowjackets TikTok, there was like the MTV Cribs thing that just popped up.
Yes,
and you were making muffins.
I'm baking muffins with a cowboy hat on. No, it was so amazing. Like these are honestly, they're not my coworkers, they're my friends, and some of them even like family. And I've learned so much from all of them. Like everyone really looks out for each other and tries to support each other in the best way possible, and that's amazing.
I know the like when you were in Vancouver, there was a lot of like cast outings here and there, and like you guys hung out and stuff. Did you guys do any escape rooms?
No. We talked about escape rooms.
Okay, because I have to tell you, like, I can see that I can see that group. I want to see a reality show with the Yellowjackets crew doing an escape room.
We did a VR sort of experience.
Okay, by the way, there's like horror movie themed escape rooms, and if you do one with me, I'm just gonna freak out the whole time, and I'm the guy that the people at the staff of the escape room love. The guy like me because they hear me go like really loud.
Yeah,
and they're like
watching you through their screen.
And they're like, that's my guy. They're like, that's my guy. That's the guy I'm gonna target the whole time.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, I think that would be such a fun group to do an escape room with. We have so many personalities. And a lot of them are so smart. Like, you know, they could figure shit out.
Oh, absolutely. There's a passion too. They're gonna want. They're gonna want.
I don't know how well we do. I don't know if we'd make it out, but we'll definitely try.
A Yellowjackets themed escape room.
You should mention that to the Showtime team. Be like, hey,
okay, hold on. Okay. Hey, Showtime. If you want to do an immersive experience for season 3, why not a Yellowjackets themed escape room in the wilderness?
There you go. Season 3 promo.
That would be amazing. And then, you know, last thing, I mean, I can't even imagine just like a life-changing experience for you. You know, we've talked about this before, just being on this show and everything. What were some takeaways for you kind of as an actor and a storyteller, learning experiences-wise, getting to work on Yellowjackets on Showtime?
Yeah. I think a lot of it, I think the biggest lesson I learned, and it was coming from working with these seasoned pros, was that the biggest thing I could do on set for my cast members is give them the respect and cultivate a safe space for them so that they could feel bold enough to create strong choices. I worked a lot with Samantha Hanratty this season, and what she really did for me was make it feel so safe that I could play around and try, you know, making choices that otherwise maybe I'd be too shy to make. And I think that was the biggest learning thing for me, was like, okay, wow, Samantha did this for me. I can carry this forward onto my next set, whatever I end up doing next. And the biggest thing I could do is make it safe enough for people to really play around and make bold choices.
That was a really good answer. Like, oh my God, like that was...
Yeah,
no,
but I need it though. Yeah.
No, that was really good. I've had answers to that question. I learned to work in a different genre I've never worked before, and then it just died. And I'm just like, man, sometimes I do like interviews with some people and I ask a question. I'm like, what was that like? Right? I'm so excited. They're like, it was a fun time. It was
You're like, okay, cool.
I know, it's so crazy. And yeah, episodes streaming on Paramount Plus, and they're airing on Showtime. Episode 5, it's a big one. But I'm really happy that we were able to do this. Nuha, thank you so much for coming on the show. Seriously.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I had such a great time.
Yeah, Instagram is your name, right? Nuha
Jes.
Jes is the Instagram. Who did the caca in the pee-pee bucket?
That was one of my captions. I do tend to have fun on there. Oh God. I just post anything because it's supposed to be fun. Social media is supposed to be fun.
Oh my God. I actually saw that. I actually went like, like I actually like.
Thank you.
No, it's good stuff. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Nuha Jes Izman, who plays Crystal in season 2 of Yellowjackets on Showtime and Paramount Plus. And Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.